Hello there. How are you? I'm going to do something that's a little bit scary right now, because I really think it needs to happen. There has to be men that are willing to defend men's position right now, because in a lot of places we're just getting trashed. And this is no commentary on women are bad or whatever. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff saying we got to do our work and we got to do all this kind of stuff. And I really think the ladies need a perspective of how it is to be a man right now. And we're doing fucking intense amounts of work right now. And we're in a world where most women are more masculine than we are. And they got it all figured out, and what's the toxic masculine and what men are doing wrong and how they got to do better and all this kind of stuff. And then they put these kind of rage-filled posts out there saying where are all the good men and why can't they smarten up and do their work and all this kind of stuff. Well, first thing is, there's no real good safe places to do that work. I'm going to tell you right now, more than half of the men's groups and other places that I'm seeing that are supposed to be safe for men are actually infested with very over-feminized men and men that aren't what I consider masculine. And so those places I've searched and I don't find them. And I don't want to go with the biker boys or those kind of things because they have no respect for women. They have no respect for themselves. So we have no real clear role models, and that's okay. And we're developing that ourselves, but that instrumentally requires a woman that's compassionate and is willing to speak to us and to help to show us, rather than some post on Facebook or whatever of how the good men are or whatever. A woman that can say when we're out of integrity and when we're begging for a way to connect with them, to take a minute and invite us to maybe try different or give a reflection of how that felt. There are so many twisted masculine supposed things that are going on, but here's an example. Women get frustrated that men don't show up, but meanwhile a woman can be as masculine as me and then justify not showing up for me and then say that men aren't following through because women's perspective on this is different. And you can't be a woman and a man at the same time and hold both values without getting very confused. So this isn't a rant saying women aren't showing up. I'm saying the role models that we had as mothers and a lot of feminine around us has taught us some very toxic ways of showing up because it's okay for them, and we're kind of half, if not more than half, feminized. We hide in our feminine as men because women sometimes are more strong and more masculine and supposedly got it all figured out more than we do. And this isn't a rant against women. This is, how do we find balance when we have ourselves being forced into a funnel of being trained by what we're seeing of the people responding around us. And I find it's awful that women are supposed to have to be more feminized than we are, or more masculinized than we are, that they've had to have this battle and fight for, I don't know, whatever they want to call it, the patriarchy, or standing up for ourselves and clearing out all this mess and all this craziness. But now we're left with all these inverted, crazy things that aren't serving anyone. So what I'm saying is, as a man, I'm doing the best based on the role models that I had. And all of our fathers were a lot this way. Most fathers in my day and age worked hard, made money, kept us safe, worked their asses off, and that was what the expectations of a father were. which is amazing and beautiful, and I respect that. But it also took that father role model away. They weren't in our lives. They weren't always teaching us hunting. They weren't always teaching fishing. My dad was able to teach me some of these things, but most men never grew up with those things because their dad was hugely invested in making money and having a safe home. So these are the men that are going into our lives now. Men that don't know how to repair cars, don't know how to hunt, don't know how to fish, don't know how to clean animals or whatever. But we're expected to be those men. Where do we get that? On the Home and Garden Network or those kind of things? These aren't coming back in traditional ways. But we as men still have within us the pull to these things, the pull to initiations, the pull to stepping into the masculine out of our puberty. But most men haven't even been given the opportunity to grow up and to be father archetypes, to be husband archetypes, to be all these things because we're still children inside. And that's not a blame, that's a societal truth. And a lot of women are still children inside in their ways because mothers were confused as well. And they didn't have father role models. They didn't have mother role models. Mothers were having to be more masculine and all these kind of things. So we all got mangled up along the way. So to have an expectation that a man's going to learn this without some feminine guidance, without a willingness to have a hard discussions is insane. It's like expecting a pig to fly because his mother was a pig. Well, we are so mangled up in trying to be something with role models that are inverted that no wonder everyone's confused. And it's okay. So, in the end, what I'm asking is that we all talk and we all say what we want and what our expectations are. If women have an expectation of the masculine, invite us to be that rock. Invite us in to do these things, because you want to know how many times we went in to do these things we didn't do in the way you expected it, and then we got our peepees whacked for not doing it well. Well, what model did we have to do it well? If there's no feedback, or the woman that's having the expectation isn't stating, okay, well, man should be a rock. I just want you to listen. I just want you to this. But if you expect us to be something and then we're not, and then you whack our pee-pee afterwards, because this is how we grew up a lot of times. It was like chiding and spanking and all these kind of things. How are we ever going to learn that new model? Are we going to go back and get that from our mom, or hope our dad's going to have that, or have some masculine role model on TV? Where do we get it from? And if most men don't have it, are there a bunch of men out there that supposedly have it and somehow grew this naturally? No. This is built back from the collective. This is built from the model that it was, and getting everybody back into their balance. And this may sound confusing. This may make people feel frustrated, but everybody's frustrated, not just the women. The men just aren't talking about it. And I really, really, really love that we can build a new model. One where there's no blame, where nobody's pointing fingers and saying you're doing wrong or missed this or whatever. I want men and women to come together in communities and groups and discussion forums and over videos like this and start to be clear. Build groups that aren't segregated by men and women. Build groups that are loaded with both sides, where everybody's open to talk and not go figure it out over there. Go figure it out over there. We'll get this all sorted later. No, nobody's winning. So a big change needs to happen. Far less poking and blaming and all this kind of stuff, and more talking. This doesn't feel good. This feels uncomfortable. This doesn't feel right to me. What's going on? How are we going to fix this? That's what needs to happen. So it's not just the men's job. It's the women's job. Women, start speaking about what you need, and it's not about going to therapy and how we're going to be all horny because you did this or you did that or whatever. No. Hey, be clear with me. Hold your integrity with me. Follow through always with everything that you say. Be accountable. Be in whatever. Tell us. Don't just go and put this big amorphous blob about how we're going to figure this all out by ourselves and how we should know it already and blah, 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 blah. Start talking about it. Say, hey, I had a man that wasn't accountable with me and this didn't feel good. And I'd really, really love if men could hold the container with me and hold the space and tell me when they're scared and tell me when they're angry and all this kind of stuff. And fuck, that's the stuff. That's the gold right now for men. And then be consistent about it. Always follow through and that kind of stuff. Don't change your mind next week because this was scary or this didn't feel comfortable or whatever. That's what we need. And that's what you want. And if you tell us, we can do that. And when we're not meeting it, tell us and we'll do it. We're learning. We need role models. We need people that are guiding us and we need clarity. So all I can say is men are doing their best in a really, really, really confusing world. And we're trying. We're not giving up. Like, fuck, we should have died a long time ago with the rules and requirements of this world, but we're not. And we're here. We're here to carry through. We just need guidance. We need an invitation. We need you to tell us what you want and be really clear about it. No more beating around the bush. No more playing hard to get, any of that kind of stuff. And then we'll relearn where we fit. So I love you. I thank you. And I know this is uncomfortable. And if it feels gritty and messy, then go inside and take a look. But I'm just telling you the truth that I feel. So I love you and I thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.